Okay, hello and welcome back. So today I have this thing which is an FD 50mm f1.4. Today I shall be CLAing this thing in front of you guys with my new camcorder, the at least new to me, yeah. Like I mean, what the fuck? It's a Panasonic HTC TM300 camcorder. This thing's made in the 2008-2009 era, so it was quite expensive back in the day. And I got this thing in a lot with the FD lenses. I got a ton of these things, like 100 plus. So there'll be a ton of CLA videos to come. And yeah, all of them have haze, most of them, yeah. So this thing has some haze, as you can see over there, yeah. Hopefully you can see it. So let's zoom in. See, that's why I wanted a camcorder in the first place, yeah. See. So you can see this. It has some haze. I've cleaned one of these things before. This one. That was in worse condition than this, and the front haze actually could be wiped off in this thing. I have cleaned an NFD and that thing didn't have wipeable haze, so yeah, this is like 50-50. All of my FDs are hazy in this lot, and all the 51.8 NFDs have haze that cannot be cleaned, but all the 51.4s that I've tried I've been able to clean. So let's see if this will work, and yeah, you can go join me then. So first what we're gonna do is we're gonna be opening up the what's this, front or rear? Let's open the front. To open the front, use this thing. It's a bit too small. Use this guy. It's usually quite easy on FDs, yeah. This thing has not been opened by me at all, like literally at all. So also the back on these things, the one I opened before this thing was destroyed. I don't think this thing is that bad, so this is I think the best one in the bunch of 51.4s that I got. So yeah, this thing should be at least half decent, hopefully at least. So let's pull this thing out. Also, this is the 51.4 S.S.C. These things usually have the same optical design amongst all the models, especially if all the models are actually 51.4 S.S.Cs. Like you can see these things, yeah, they're like basically the same thing. I have even more, but I'm not putting them beside me because these are like waiting for CLA. The other ones are done. So yeah. Also have an FL 51.4 that's coming soon. That's not in the lot, yeah. The lot was super cheap. That FL 1.4 was like 10 times more than this thing that thing cost. But I still bought it because that is still very cheap. So you can now see how cheap these things were, yeah, for me to buy. But they all need CLA, so 100 plus lenses. Hopefully I'll finish them quick enough, so before I have any actual work to do, I can hopefully have them sold and I don't know, buy like M11. Like that's all the rage right now, yeah? So M11 maybe, not sure. Wait, I lost my flathead. Let me go get it. I know where it is. Okay, I am back. So this thing, see, that's quite clean actually, to be honest. This front ring, usually this like this gets stuck under here. So okay, I can't open this nail polish thing. Let me go find some rubber to help me twist this thing open. Okay. With this, I still mark FDs on the top, yeah, but you can actually see this like indentation over here. That is what's gonna mark the top. So yeah, but I still mark it because that's what I do usually. So I find it as like a good habit. So on other lenses you actually mark them. On FDs you don't have to, but I do, because I want to, yeah. So it's not mandatory. It's mandatory when you come to the helicoid bit, because the helicoids do need to be clean. This thing, the focus is actually quite nice, but then the one I've given my own grease in feels so much better, so I think I'm gonna change grease anyway. Like it's on its way out, this thing, yeah. Maybe 3 years, 5 years, maybe 10 years at max, you'll have to change this grease. So I'm gonna change it right now. I mean in this CLA, not right now, yeah, because I'm gonna show you the optics first. So, oh shit, I flipped this thing upside down. This is my Xiaomi Weha set, PH0. So yeah, also my Panasonic camcorder right here is running on a PC power supply, 12 volts. So I'm gonna have to move this power supply first with this light so that I can take my FTB, because I use a Canon FTB as like a base when servicing these FT lenses, and my FTB is somewhere inside this Tupperware box under the light. So I'm very sorry that it was an interruption, yeah, basically. So let's put these things away. It's my FTB, and put these Canons back in. Actually, let's not put them back in. I'm gonna have to take them back out when I put the FT back in. I mean FTB back in. So let's put these things on my bed or my other table. And now let us put this power supply back here. Be careful not to snap any cables, because then I'd cut the video and you'll not be watching anything basically. Let's pull this slightly up. Okay, this light source. So now let's take this thing apart. Put this thing on the FTP first, then tighten it down. Now I'll unscrew this plug 1. This is number 2. And this is number 3. Let's pull this ring out. There's some oil in here, yeah? So that might be why there's so much haze in there. Hopefully it's oil and not, and grease, yeah? Because grease will evaporate and make that kind of shit happen. It's not only the oil. So then this might pop out, or it might twist out. I think this thing twists out like the one before it. So let's take my hand, like what you call these things? Lens wrench. Tighten this thing down and then twist. Whoop. Comes right out, yeah? Nice little FT. Like, these things are so nice, yeah, that they actually want to make me like the FT range. Usually I hate on the FTs because they're hard to repair and they cost a ton basically. They used to be cheap, but now they're not very cheap. So that's why I don't really like them anymore. But I mean, I have never liked them, yeah, since when I started in this like photo stuff, which is 2019, 2018, on there, yeah. I'd say 2019. 2018 I was still selling iPhones. So yeah, you get where I came from, yeah? iPhones. Okay. Now I think you can use your hands, and this thing has a lot of grease in the threads. I think the guy at CLA this thing before me. I mean, everything here is a wreck. Everything has been CLA is a wreck in this lot. So I think what they did was that they put some grease on the threads. Yeah. Moment of truth, and yes, you can wipe away the haze. Okay. This. Oh fuck, I think you can only wipe away a bit of the haze, not all of it. Let's see, yeah. Oh shit, man. You can only wipe a bit of it, not all of it. Like half of it's clean, but half of either the rest is fucked up. Let's see if I can use some lighter fluid there to make the haze go away. If not, then yeah, so what luck. Man, this was like the best one. I thought this thing would be like such a good specimen after I clean this thing up. Is it coming off? Oh, it's sort of coming off, yeah. So after rubbing with lighter fluid, the haze is coming off slowly, which is super unexpected, but it is happening. So, yeah, I think I'll have to watch this thing later and see if anything actually changes. I think I can actually clean this stuff off. So hopefully this thing will be haze free, because yeah, after putting some lighter fluid on this optic, it did get slightly better, so I have hope for that thing. Put this lighter fluid away. Now you have the front basically off, which is nice because you're already quite far into the lens itself. But I think if this thing doesn't work out that well, the optics, I'm gonna take my FD S.S.C with a nice inner element and just swap that thing out, yeah. Because this thing has a nice front element, but not a nice before front, which is like second group elements, yeah. So yeah, you get the point, So let's put this thing away. It's FTP. Oh shit! I nearly dropped my box for like, I don't know, 5 FD lenses plus some Pentax M lens. Fucking hell. Let's put this thing aside on that power supply. Fuck. That was super unplanned. Okay, so let's put this thing away. I need a drink, yeah, because my mouth's sort of dry, but I don't have one. So yeah, so what lah? Let's take the rear part. For some reason I feel really sad, yeah, because that thing is haze and the haze didn't come off that easily, but I think the other one also didn't have haze that came off that easily, yeah. It came off slowly, and I think it came off when I washed it in water in the sink, so maybe I'll have to do that also with this FD lens, S.S.C 51.4. Oh shit, that's a strip screw. Son of a bitch. Well, at least it opens, yeah. Fucking hell, man. That's so stripped. What the hell? So this thing can't be tightened too much, or else I'm gonna have to like extract the screw by force or by drilling. Son of a shit. So then let's pull this thing out. There we go. Then you have oil again everywhere, which is just fucked up basically. Then you'll have to open this thing up, I'd say. Let's pull this pin out. My other FD didn't have this pin, which is quite odd, yeah. But so what? I think the CLA guy before me just lost it. I'm also not sure what the heck that thing does, yeah. But oh, that thing centers your mount, so when it goes in, you can center it and it just pops into this small hole right here. But yeah, mine didn't have that before. I mean, the one before this thing didn't have it, so yeah. So let me try to zoom it in. So basically what I have here, this little spring and pin thingy. The FD S.S.C before this thing didn't have this little part that goes into here. Hopefully yours has one. So let's go back to wide. Okay. Now let's open these things. This thing's basically some fuck you. Some plate thingy that holds the aperture ring so it doesn't jump up when you're putting it back together again, yeah. At this point you wanna have a cup. In this cup you wanna house the aperture balls. One, and the other one is gone. It must be somewhere around here. It's not in here. Okay, the ball is gone for some reason. Oh, it's right here. Okay, nice. Okay, I feel lucky today. So now let's take the springs out. You don't have to do this yet, but I want to do it because I don't want to lose any springs. Where the fuck did the balls go, man? Oh, it went here, yeah? Okay, so let's pull these things out by any means possible. I think by magnet, yeah. So let's take the magnet out. pull these two springs out. Okay. Now you want to pull the optical block out. It's quite simple actually. Then you want to open this rear lock screw thingy. This thing, on my old one, I mean the one before this thing, was mangled to hell. So basically you had to like cut more grooves in here, and then I had to also cut some of this so it would come out easily. Yeah. This hopefully doesn't have to go through that, but yeah, let's see. So it's actually quite easy to open these things. Just open this thing. You have an optic in here. The rearmost optic is in. It's like casted into this metal bit. Then you have an optic in here. Then you have a group in here. Then this thing you have like a front optic and a group in here. Nothing else, I think. So yeah, it's pretty simple. I'm gonna go clean the optics and come back to you when I'm done. And we're gonna go clean the helicoid together. So yeah, thank you and goodbye. Okay, yeah, hello. So today we shall continue, and let me put this light somewhere else. Oh, I think that's right. Okay, so now I'm gonna go mark the helicoids, and we shall be on to opening this guy up. Take this protector off. Now you have this helicoid right here. Let's take my tissue away because you don't need this thing anymore. Now you have this. So you want to mark it again with my tool, yeah? So you get this white nail polish. And honestly, I'm not sure if this thing's gonna come out this clean, yeah, because this is a new camera. I've never used it before, but yeah, so let's mark the top one. This guy's infinity. You wanna mark this here. Okay, nice. And so all these three things do not hit the end, yeah, on these FDs. They have like a slight bit of, wait, let me show you. So the screws, fuck, it doesn't seem like it wants to focus here. So let's zoom on a little bit. There you go. So you can see these screws, yeah, over here. They're not at the end. See? So you're gonna have to back these things up when you put them in, so they don't go in fully to one side. Let's put this nail polish back in here. Actually no, we still do need it, yeah. So now let's go and let's go and unscrew this front ring. Set it to infinity first. Then you wanna open this thing. Open this thing. Then open this thing. Okay. Now you have to lift this thing clean off. There you go. And now you have the front ring. This thing goes in the front, so I'm gonna put it here. Now you can see where that thing went over here. And now you can see the infinity stop. It's over here. So now you wanna mark infinity maybe. So to mark infinity, you wanna scratch this thing and scratch this thing together, yeah. So how you can do that is you can use one of these screwdrivers. There you go. You can see this, yeah. That's a line. You wanna take a photo, yeah? To see how high the helicoids are supposed to be. Okay. So then now you wanna basically unscrew this guy, I believe. And it hits this thing. Okay, so what I did before on the one I opened before, yeah, is like put some red nail polish on that thing, so I'm going to do the same. Okay, yeah, that should be enough. So you wanna go check the aperture if it's clear or not. I think it is, right? Let's see. How's the actuator work there? Wait, this aperture unit might be broken, man. Okay. This is probably broken. Wait, yeah, I'm gonna cut this video for a while. Okay, so I'm gonna have to find a way to open the aperture up then. Not sure if this still has blades, yeah. Oh, it's still, oh yeah, you can see the oil, yeah. It's pretty shit. So I'm gonna have to fix this part also, basically. To fix this, I think you open these 3 screws and just like attack it. I think, yeah. Holy shit. Shit job became more shitty. Okay, so now gotta open the aperture blades up. Okay, so let's see if I can find any resources online, yeah, because I've never opened one of these apertures. So FD 50mm f1.4 S.S.C. Aperture repair. Okay, I can watch this guy's aperture repair while I try to mine. So fuck this alarm clock. Okay, so according to this guy, you basically do what does he do? He takes these 3 screws out. Then what does he do? He pulls the thing up. This guy uses the same screwdriver as me, man. These Weeha set. Wait, so okay, pull that thing out then. Oh shit, that looks disgusting, man. Okay, then you have gloves. How do you open the thing up? Yeah, that's disgusting. Okay, what next? Yeah. I think I'm gonna continue this thing later, yeah, somebody's calling me, so yeah. I'm gonna pause this for a while. Okay, I'm pretty sure I can do this now, so let's try. So first you wanna open these 3 screws up, basically. Wait, let me go take some photos, yeah, so I don't get lost. Because that guy's video wasn't really that clear. So, I'm gonna take this photo. Where's the marking? So the marking I made in infinity is right above the... right opposite the actuation thingy. And you have this, the rear aperture mechanism. Okay, should be enough. I trust Gcam enough to give me clear photos. So let's pull you. then pull you. This connects over here, that just falls out. There you go. Yeah, it's disgusting as fuck. Okay, so put this over here. Now you have this aperture assembly right here. This thing is held in by these 3 screws basically, and once you open them, all hell breaks loose, the whole thing will fall off. So let's take some tissue. It's fluff. Polish, I think, no? Okay, so let's do this, then let's open these things up, yeah. Alarm clock. So you want to try opening this thing. Okay, and so now this thing should just fall apart. Let's put this thing on some. I don't feel like putting on that. I feel like putting on plastic. Wait, let me find some plastic here. Wait. Okay, I found myself some plastic, so let's put it over here. This thing should logically be quite easy to fix here, because I mean quite easy to put back inside here. Let's also photo where the where the aperture pin goes, so I don't put it in this hole. And then you wanna use the scissors, I think, yeah, to like slowly pry on this thing. Okay, there you go. So the long legs go outside onto the sides, and then the smaller inner legs go into the smaller inner ring right there. It's not that complex, this mechanism, yeah. So basically what happens after this, you want to clean this thing right here. You also want to clean these aperture blades and pull them all, I think, in one set. Not really, but yeah. So take this one out, take them out one by one. Be careful not to fold them, because then you'll have shit blades. There you go. Then you have this, which is the actuation ring thingy, and the blade, which is oily as fuck. This thing is held in by the spring, I think. Yeah, see, so with the spring you can toggle this thing, and that's how the aperture blades move. Understand? So this thing you want to clean up, I think, yeah. So you want to deactivate the spring, and then you want to clean these things up. It's quite easy to clean them up, yeah, with some tissue or some, actually not tissue, dip them. If you're me, yeah, or at least if I were you, I'd dip these things in gasoline, and then take them out, put them on tissue, dry them up, then dip them in alcohol. The gasoline's to like clean all the dirt off, and the alcohol's like the final rinse, so it only takes that slight bit of oil left out, and then leave them to dry, and you're done. You have a nice clean aperture. So yeah, wait for a while. I'm gonna come back when these things are clean. Bye bye. Okay, so let me now show you how you can actually put these things back together, the apertures, yeah. I've cleaned this one up, so now let me assemble this guy. It's quite easy actually if you get the hang of it, yeah. So just take one of these blades, blow any dust off, Then fit this as the first one. There you go. Then you get the second one. Shit. This thing's not perfect. Let's clean this a little bit more. Okay. That's your second one. This is your third. Try zooming it in, yeah. And see if that'll work. Okay. This is why you don't want a Nikon Z6, you want a camcorder. So then you want to push this thing in. Nice. This is not going too well. Let's go to front. Come on. Yes. 2 blades left there. So it's 1. You want this thing to be under the front blades, under these things, but over these things. So how you do that is you wanna manipulate the aperture until you get that to happen. Yeah. So you wanna lift this thing slightly while you set this thing, and that way you'll have it under the first blade. Nice. Then the last blade you want to put in here, yeah? You want to find what position works the best. I think this works the best, yeah? So you want to find a way to ensure that this thing will go under the first blade but over the last one. Make some room so you don't mess up, because this is always where things happen. The last blade. You want to look for the hole, and I think I found it. There you go, nice. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to put this thing back on and then screw it down. Then you should be done. So let's wipe this surface down first. Then plop this thing down, just like this. Okay, then screw everything in and you're done. So let's take these screws. I think I should be using a smaller screw head, like a PH00. This PH0 is a bit too big, yeah. So take this thing, screw this one screw in first slightly, okay, then the second, and now you have a working aperture unit. Okay, now this works, it's clean. And now you want to attach this spring back on. Just pull it there, push it onto the lever thingy, which holds it in. More like a pin in a lever, yeah? So just put it in. And you have a spring, which then makes your aperture work. Okay, let's zoom back out and put this thing back in the helicoid. So how I do this is just simple, just drop it in and then find the screw holes, make sure they line up, okay, and once they line up, put this thing back on the table, put your PH0 back on, and now take the screws to screw them back into the helicoid unit. Nice. So then I'm gonna fix the helicoids up, but I'm gonna do something else first, so I'm gonna cut the video soon, yeah, after I finish screwing these things down. Oh wait, I think I put it in the wrong way. I think the aperture is supposed to have the pin on this side. Let's see, yeah. No, it's correct, man. So what could have gone wrong? Not sure. Let me try opening this guy back up again, yeah, and see what's wrong. So this is supposed to go into a groove into here, I think. So before you tighten the thing down, you want to make sure the groove's in and set. So you want to basically drop this guy out again, Oh yeah, it's oily again, yeah, because the bottom I haven't cleaned up. Okay, so let me go clean this thing up again, and then clean the bottom, and then we'll be able to put everything back properly this time. So wipe this. I'm gonna go wipe the insides. This thing will still actuate, okay? So then you wanna have it but yeah, I'm still wiping the helicoid inner unit. Okay, that seems clean enough for me. So you wanna drop this thing in over here. Make sure the aperture unit goes through. There you go. And then you wanna make sure this pin thingy goes in also. See, in this case it doesn't go in. Also, you're on the wrong side. You want this thing to be on here. Then you want this thing to basically be in here. There we go. That's the wrong side again. Okay. Then you want to try to actuate this thing. No, it's still wrong. Let me go figure this out. I'm gonna come back to you soon. Yeah, bye bye. Okay, so I'm back right now. Now it's night time because obviously I had some other things to do than CLA lenses, so I had to pause this thing for a while basically. Now I'm gonna go clean the helicoids. So first, what you wanna do is you wanna find a screwdriver that you do not need. You want a rubbish one because you want a tip to be basically a sacrificial item, because you're gonna scratch stuff. Yeah, so open the aperture blades. Open them up. Yeah, like this. Then you want to focus this thing out. You probably want to set where the heck this thing goes. Okay, this is the top. Screwdriver doesn't do anything for this surface on the top. So I've scratched this edge over here, which I think will be enough for me to identify it. So then what you want to do is you want to basically identify infinity, which is over here. You want to take photos first, yeah? So you don't forget where the helicoid goes. I think I've already taken some photos in the morning, yeah, but I'm just gonna take them now again, so I do not forget. It's that tall, and it looks like this. So I'm gonna mark infinity on this ring. Oh yeah, I've already marked it, yeah, so I can just basically pull this thing out. Okay, I cannot because I still have this locking part over there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and clean this side basically of my table, so I can actually put some stuff onto this bit over here. Yeah. and then I'm gonna start taking the screws out of this side locking thingy. Oh fuck, this is hard. Whoa, okay. That's your first screw out. Yes, second screw out. You do not want to slip, because if you slip, then you might actually damage the screw head, and if you do that, then you're basically fucked. So you need to want to make sure that you do not get anything wrong. So you get this done. Then next, you want to basically pull this helicoid out. You want to smack this thing out also. This thing came out quite easily. The FD I did before this one was actually quite hard to open, so I had to like use some pliers and hit this thing onto that part over there. Yeah. So now you can actually open this thing up. This thing is okay. So then open this thing up. Okay, then you want to find exactly where the heck this thing separates from that line over here. So it's about here, yeah. Okay, that is your outer helicoid. Then you have this thing, which you want to mark when it aligns with this basically, yeah. So you want to align this, that's out. Then you want to mark this thing. There you go. They're marked. Now I'm gonna go wash the helicoids basically, and I'm gonna come back when I'm done. And yeah, so wait for a while. I'm gonna come back after I wash these things, and then I'll show you how the heck you can put them back together again. So yeah, bye bye. Okay, so we're back and I have these things cleaned up. So now let's go put these things back together again, yeah. So first, let me go crease up the helicoid using the small liquid EM50L crease. This has PTFE and molybdenum. I think I said that correctly, yeah. So basically it's nice grease, not shit grease, which is all you want basically. And yeah, I'm just gonna go put this on here with a brush. I find that using a brush you can actually get into the small, like, what you call this thing? Threads, inside the threads. So in the end you'll have a smoother helicoid than if you had no brush. I mean, if you don't have a brush, it will get smooth in the end, but that'll be like 1 week of use, 2 weeks, which I do not have. I need to sell stuff, and these things sometimes flip for quite quickly. Yeah? So like you post this thing today and tomorrow it might get sold, so I don't have 1 week of use for these things, and that is why sometimes I would rather use a brush than use my like stick or something like that, yeah. Because for some reason people like Canon FDs and I do not. Probably because they do not need to CLA them, yeah, whereas I have to like CLA every single one that goes in here, which is, yeah, not ideal at all. So, but then at least selling FDs I can buy other stuff which I actually like. So these FDs are basically funding me and my hobby, which is a good thing actually, because if I didn't sell anything I wouldn't be buying anything. I have a ton of Minoltas, some Seagulls, some Leicas, some Zeiss optics which are waiting for me to CLA. So yeah, these FTs do pay, but at the cost that I have to look at them every single day. And if you don't like something, you probably don't want to look at the same thing every single day on your table. Yeah. But so what? At least they are not that hard to fix. These are hard, but I mean they're at least predictable. Yeah, you actually know what is in them, and you know what to do with them, or at least I know. Yeah, I'm not sure if you know, but I do. Some other lenses are not that straightforward, so that's why I sort of like FTs to sell. And here you go, I'm selling FTs. So I'm gonna take a lot of crease in here for the helicoid. You wanna do it on two sides, yeah, the inner and the outer bit of the helicoid, because if you only do it on one side, it will spread, but it'll take quite a long time to spread. And sometimes it also doesn't spread, which is the most shitty part, yeah. So if it doesn't spread, then you're left with a coarse helicoid, and nobody wants a coarse helicoid, yeah. Everybody wants a smooth, buttery helicoid, and that's what I'm gonna give them. So if you're doing a CLA, do it the right way, which is to put grease everywhere on the threads, but not on the optics, not in the like aperture assembly, and not somewhere you do not want grease, because grease can be bad but also can be good. In helicoid threads, and only in helicoid threads, it's nice. In some sealing stuff, like if you have a Nikonos, you can put some grease on the seals, that's nice. If you put grease on the focus ring, your hands are gonna be greasy, that's not a good thing. If you put them on the optics, you'll have fungi, which is even worse. So that's basically my philosophy on grease, and how you should not overfill your lens with grease. Because if too much grease is like food for fungi, and if you have like food, fungi will grow, which is shit. So you don't want that, yeah. So what I'm doing with the brush is that I'm spreading it, and also I'm pushing the grease into the threads, so they actually like are full of grease, and that way there's no scratchiness in the threads. I find that using the brush is the best way. Nothing beats the brush. And I think you can actually modify this thing if you want closer focus here, but then I don't, because I like lenses to go stock. Also, I think this thing has quite close focus here. It's like 0.5 or 0.45 meter, which is quite close, adequate enough. So I do not play with that anymore. So now let's take a Q-tip to clean this side bevel thingy. Okay, that's clean. Now let's thread this thing in. The arrow goes onto the infinity marker like this, and then you basically thread it on. Yeah, so it's C. Okay, nice. Then you have this thing in, so you want to pull this thing out somewhat on here maybe, and at this point you can slot the inner helicoid inside. So now you want to go smother the inner parts of this helicoid with some grease. Okay, that should be it for the helicoid. Let me go wipe off the excess grease with my brush. And then remove the excess onto my helicoid, like this part of the helicoid basically. So let's put this thing here. And I can feel a lot more excess here, because I actually took quite a lot of grease from the canister, so yeah, there's quite a lot of excess that I'm gonna put on this inner bit of the helicoid, so I do not waste the grease, because PTFE grease is quite expensive actually, so you do not want to waste it. You can overdo any of these and take the excess and put it on the aperture ring, so that is a good thing to know. You do not have to like always use always throw away grease, because I do not like to do that, especially with this stuff. This thing costs like 1 point something million rupiah a tube, which is like $100 I think. I mean a can, which is a few hundred grams. That's quite expensive for grease, for some white clearish liquid substance that's sticky and slippery. Yeah, it's quite expensive, yeah. So do not waste grease unless you want to waste money. Okay, that seems good enough. I'm gonna go wipe this thread down, this helicoid key space down. Okay, that should be enough. Now let's find the arrow. The arrow is over there, and that should go onto this scratch over here. Okay, now let's find a way to push this thing into the helicoid key. So, okay, there you go. And in theory, you'll have this thing working properly again. Let's see my photo. Let's brighten this thing up. Seems exactly the same, so we should be okay to basically put the helicoid key in. Helicoid end stop. So let's first check if I have done anything to the aperture plates. I have not. So lock them open. And now you want to put this end stop back in. To put this end stop back in, just focus it to the side. Find the top bit, which I've scratched over here. Put it down like this. Then you want to screw all the screws in, but just slightly, not very much. So you want to screw them in until it's thread in, yeah, but do not tighten them yet. So this is how I do it. You might do it a different way, but this is how I like to do it. So put this second one in, and then this third one in. Okay, yeah. So as you can see, let me go zoom in. Okay, yeah. You can see this. I'm gonna have to align this with the red markings on the top. Just go over there and over there, And then now you want to screw this one in, then this one in, then this one in, then make sure everything's still squared up, and then after that tighten it to hell, and you have a working helicoid stopper. Nice, see? Nice working helicoid. Let's now zoom out. Fuck. Okay. And now what you want to do is you want to put everything back together again. So, what's this? Springs and ball bearings. This is the rear optical assembly. This is the front ring, which I'm gonna put on, I think, yeah. So, infinity. Push this thing to infinity, basically. Oh shit, yeah, this thing had a sticker on it, yeah, and it's sticky, so fuck it. I'm gonna have to clean that thing later. Infinity goes over here. This thing also, you have to adjust the infinity stop, like the Nicors, basically. So, like, I mean, my Nicor 35mm f2, yeah. I'm not sure of other Nicors, but most of them have this kind of setting, I believe. I mean, like the high-end Nicors. So, screw this thing down. Do not screw them very hard, yeah, until you have the third one in. Then after that, you wanna make sure the infinity mark is exactly over there. And then once you're sure, wait, yeah, you wanna go and push the screws onto here. Okay, that seems like infinity. So then you want to basically screw this thing down, a bit more, this thing down hard, then screw this thing down, and this thing down. Okay, and this thing one more time. And that is done, see? So next, you wanna put the aperture assembly in. I mean aperture ring assembly. So for this, you wanna basically put the springs in, lube the ring, and then you wanna put the clicker thingy in. From my experience, this thing will not go in unless you squish the springs in here a bit. But let's see that later, yeah? So let's not think about that. Now, first you wanna go lube the ring, and I'm gonna do that with my brush and some grease. So for this ring, you want to lube this inner surface and this outer surface also, because this inner bit will be for the like aperture ring skimming thingy. I'm not sure what the heck you call it, yeah. So let's put grease everywhere. Not too much, not too little. Okay, yeah. Then crease the front lip. Okay. Then you wanna go lube this like small crease in here. Okay, and then you want to lube these holes. Ring. Okay, that should be it. So then you want to put a little bit extra lube into the holes again, so that you do not have the balls jumping everywhere. Okay, clean up your brush, put this thing away. I have this and this. You have these springs which are usually too long. I'm gonna go squish them slightly, yeah. Not very much, but slightly, with some vernier calipers, cause you need leverage. So with that, or I think I'm gonna try doing it with hand. I think with my hands I can do it, cause it doesn't take a lot to like squish these small springs. Checking the length between the squished one and the stock one. Let's see. It's a very small difference. I think I'll have to squish them with something slightly harder than a finger. Yeah, okay. I'll take my vice grips. You don't need to squish them that hard, just squish them slightly. So hold them with some tweezers. Also, I don't like the clicky nature of these FDs, yeah? So I want like a slightly less clicky lens. That's why I'm doing this. So do this, yeah. Put the spring in the middle. Squish it. There you go. That should be. That's not done. That's not very squished. I think I'm using the wrong calipers. Let me just try my other one. And for you all wondering, this is reversible. So do not worry about killing your springs. Your springs are not gonna die. They'll still work, which is expected because they're springs, yeah. That's now a bit shorter than it was. Then let's take this one. That's also now a bit shorter, so I think these are a bit too short actually. Let's stretch them a bit. That should be enough. And for this, that should be enough. Just right. So now you want to push springs into the holes. But I think I lost it. Oh no, I didn't. It nearly fell off the table. Lucky. hold the spring with my tweezers. Let's find the holes and drop these things in the holes one by one. That's number 1. This is number 2. Okay, there you go. Then you want to put the balls back in. You want to put some extra grease on top of the holes. Oh shit, the grease filled like, I mean, things fell down my foot. It's my foot sticky and greasy. Put some over here. That should work, yeah. So the problem with taking the greasing paintbrush is that the camera's DC in is like right beside that thing. So every time I wiggle that, I'm scared that I could like kill the camera's DC in power, because my cables are not very well made, I'd say, because I made them myself. And I do not trust my soldering on this, I don't know, TC 300 something like that, yeah. Not sure what this thing's called, but yeah. So I think this thing's a bit too high still, actually, to be honest, because if you try and put this thing in, yeah, I'm pretty sure the balls will jump out. Yeah, see, they jump out. So I was wrong. These things are not too short, but they're too long still. So I'm gonna have to extract them somehow, and that somehow will be with some magnets. So let me take magnets out. There you go. Somehow it doesn't want to come out. This thing wants to, but that thing doesn't want it. So let's like pry this thing out. What the hell? Why is that thing stuck, man? Wait, yeah. I can probably get that thing out with a needle, yeah, but I don't have one right beside me, so I'm not gonna try needle first. I'm gonna I think you can do this, and hopefully no. I think what I need to do is I need to put some alcohol onto this part, because I think what's bothering it is the lighter fluid. I mean the the grease. The grease is like sticking to it, and that's what's making it stuck. So I'm gonna put some alcohol and squish it into the hole and wipe it off. Now let's see if this thing will work. The heck, man, no effect. Okay, I think I'm gonna go and find something sharper than my screwdriver, which should be a needle, but let's see if I have one. Not sure if I do. Let's use this thing. Let's see if it will work. I can probably use an M2 screw and take that thing out. Let's try using an M1.5 or 1.7 in this case. This thing will basically thread into the spring and make the spring come out. still in there. Okay, let's try M1.5. So let's see. Yeah, I shouldn't have stretched the springs, man. That's a bad move. Well, let's try and push this spring in with this M1.5 and see if that'll actually make the thing shorter, because then I can actually skip taking the spring out and I can just leave it in there. And it sort of works, so yeah, let's do the same for the second spring. That's actually not a bad idea. So use this thing to push on the spring basically, and then push this ball into there. Now this should actually work, let's see. So let's put it here. Nice. A locks. Okay, so that's job done by an M1.5 screw. Thank you, little screw. I'm lucky to have you around. Put my screws back into its case, and then we're gonna screw in the aperture locker thingy. So with this plate, your aperture ring will not fall out. Like, it's guaranteed not to fall out. So you wanna push this thing into here. And screw in this thing. And screw in this thing. Screw it hard. Then screw this thing sort of hard. Okay. Next, you wanna put this thingy back into here. Wait. Here, I think. Wait. No. Where the fuck was this thing from? Let's check the photos, yeah. Let's see. Do I have a photo of this thing or not? So, Panasonic. No, I don't think I have the photo of that thing. Fuck. Oh, I might have one. Oh no, I don't have it. Okay. Shit. So, I have to find which one has. I think it goes into here. Because this is a triple triangular thingy, and this thing's right aside. I mean, which cause thing, right on the other side of this thing. So that's not supposed to be a screw hole. I think that's supposed to be a little hole for this locking mechanism thingy. Let's push this thing in. Now let's put this optical block in. Okay, screw it in slowly. My hands are greasy, so I really don't want to touch the optics, because optics with grease are hard as fuck to clean up. Screw this thing in. Wipe the optic. Yeah, I left some grease in the optic, so I'm gonna finish that off when I wash my hands. So let's zoom out again. Okay. Now let's put the breech mount on, breech lock thingy. So you want to make sure this thing is wait, you want to make sure this prong, let's zoom in again, see this prong right here, this thing goes into this fork over here, and then this has to go I'm not sure, but let's just, yeah, this thing has to go behind this thing, I think, like this way of this pin. Let's just see, I think that's how it goes in. Okay. Wait, yeah. So has to go here, and then this little pin has to go into there, which is not really possible. Okay, I see. So let's zoom out again. So make sure this thing's sort of here, yeah? This little pin up to this side. Then you want to push this in. Then you can turn this thing until you find the little... What the fuck? It's supposed to find that, so... There you go, it's in. So now let's screw this thing in, and the rear should be done. Let's see if I'm correct here, because usually I'm not. Then let's push on this thing to release the mount. This time I used FL oil on the mount, not like I usually use. Usually I use this moly coat again, but today I wanted to try something else. FL oil is a bit cheaper than moly coat, it's a bit lighter, so the breech mount should turn a bit faster, yeah, when it sticks on the camera, but I'm not sure yet, because I haven't tried it on any FDs yet. So this is still experimental. So now you have this. This is f8, 16, okay, that seems like it does work. What the, oh, this thing, there you go. So this ring somehow is a bit delayed, so I'll have to find out how the heck that thing got that way. Let's see. Let's take these things out first. So somehow, this is a bit laggy. What in the fucking working caused that? Let's see. This should mount like this when it's open, and when it's closed, should do this. This thing can freely float in there. Then you can like use this thing right here. Maybe this thing's not touching the thing, but it is. Well, I think this thing's sort of bent. Let's bend it back slightly. This is not very scientific yet, but I think it is why it's not working properly. So bend it back. Let's sort of bend it slightly there, so it doesn't hit the Okay, I think that way I've fixed the lens. Let's see. Let's put this thing back in, then search for the pin. Why in the fuck haven't I found it? Hold on. You want to twist it this way. There you go. That seems to have worked, so now let's try and screw this thing back in, and hopefully everything works perfectly. Yeah. This mount is somehow not very straight, so I'll have to find a way to make this thing straight. First of all, let's make sure that the aperture ring is actually straight, which it is. It should click at 2 stop intervals, which it does not. No. So I think that one of the aperture balls is jumped. But I don't think it is jumped. So let's see what I can do. This is why I hate FD. The rear mount's fucked up. You always somehow screw it up. Let's see. Well, you have to find a way to basically, does this thing work properly? Let's see. If that bit works, then this thing also should work. I think I understand. You have to do this, then do this, then you have this thing go in. Now this thing doesn't wobble around. I should have a working FD lens. Let's see. So now I think that it's at f22, I think, or 16. What you call this thing? F16, yeah. So fuck FDs. This rear-mount always fucks me up. After this CLA, I'm probably gonna rest from the FDs. Yeah, I'm gonna probably work on some C-Culls, some Pentax M's, rest my fingers, and actually do something I can do. Cause fuck FDs. Wait, yeah. This thing is correct. This thing is correct. Like, I know how they're built and I know how they put. I mean how they're put together. Yeah, but still, fuck this lens. It's not that easy. Okay. Now you wanna do what? Oh shit. Okay, didn't hit optic. This thing will open when you have this thing on. So I think I'm gonna mount it in the on position. Not sure, yeah. Try this. I cannot feel any wobble this time. Hopefully it does not wobble at all. So let's click this thing. Will I finally succeed? Let's see. Aperture ring still turns. Lock mode still works. This thing doesn't work because it's not locked. I mean, this thing's open. You wanna close this thing up. That's at f1.4, f16, somewhere in between. Yes, it works. Yes. Okay. Now I can tighten this thing down because I have a working FD lens. At least if the focus works here, because I haven't tested this thing. If the focus doesn't work and it doesn't reach infinity, I'm gonna have to take everything apart and do this whole fucking thing again. So yeah, gonna first wipe the front. Dust off the rear optics. Seems like FL lenses don't have automatic stop down. Okay. So that means I've been working on too many NFTs, yeah. So what? So let's now check the front. Okay. The front looks clean enough. I probably have a fingerprint on the front bit, yeah, but I don't care because I'm gonna wipe that thing anyway. Same as the back. Let's mount this thing on my FDB. Okay. This is taking forever, man. See if I can focus this thing a bit further out. There you go. Okay, now let's take my vernier calipers. And tighten this thing down. This thing's not some hazy. I have a few elements that I can use, but I'm not sure if I want to trade elements between lenses because my other lens is actually quite nice here. So yeah, and you have this thing tightened down. You want to put this thing in. Make sure the top is this thing with a small notch. Put it over here. Tighten this thing down. And basically you're done. So yeah, thank you for watching everyone. Hope you liked the video. It has been quite long, yeah. I'm also quite tired from these FD lenses. I hate them. You might like them. I do not judge anyone that likes lenses that I do not like. If you bought them new, I'd probably judge you, yeah, but if you bought them new, you probably didn't know they're such a pain in the ass to like work on. So that is fair enough, I'd say. Like, you don't know how hard something is to work on until it breaks, which is quite often the case in FDs, and people have to send them in for repair. Canon doesn't repair them anymore, so in the end, I repaired them. And I hate repairing these things. Fuck FD. But at least I can repair them, yeah, so it's not like impossible. Not like Sigma where you have to like indent parts for like a few $100s per piece. So yeah, let's find my rubber cone. and I'm done. Thank you for watching, everyone. Hope you liked the video. If you did like the video, you can go do anything you want. You can share the video, share to a friend, share to some other person that wants to repair their FT, and yeah, have a nice day. I'm gonna go wipe the optics in the front and the back, and I should be done and happy. I'm probably gonna sleep. I'm not gonna do any more CLAs, yeah. But yeah, bye bye. Thank you for watching.